Putin lowers threshold for nuclear weapons use amid escalating tensions. In a provocative shift in global security dynamics, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday formalized changes to Russia's nuclear doctrine, lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. This move follows heightened tensions with the West, particularly after U.S. President Joe Biden authorized Ukraine to strike targets within Russia using American-supplied long-range missiles, the Revised Doctrine. Under the revised guidelines, Russia could potentially resort to nuclear weapons in response to a conventional military attack on its territory. The aggressor is backed by a nuclear-armed nation. Previously, Russia's nuclear doctrine was more restrictive, emphasizing nuclear responses only in cases of existential threats or large-scale attacks. This change appears to broaden the scenarios under which Moscow might deploy its nuclear arsenal, signaling a willingness to escalate its responses to perceived threats, even those not involving nuclear force directly. Context and timing. The timing of this announcement is significant. It comes on the heels of the U.S. decision to supply Ukraine with longer-range missiles capable of striking deep within Russian territory. While Washington has stated that these weapons are intended to help Ukraine defend itself, Moscow views them as a direct provocation and a strategic threat. Putin's decision also coincides with mounting military pressure on Russia amid Ukraine's counteroffensive, which has been bolstered by Western military aid. Implications for global security: increased risk of escalation. By lowering the nuclear threshold, Russia raises the stakes for any direct or indirect conflict involving NATO or other nuclear-armed nations. This increases the risk of miscalculation or unintended escalation, deterrence, or provocation. While Moscow may view this policy as a deterrent, it could provoke preemptive measures by NATO and other Western powers, leading to an arms race or heightened tensions. Impact on Ukraine war. This move complicates the already fraught dynamics of the Ukraine conflict. With the potential for nuclear threats on the table, it adds a new layer of uncertainty for both Ukraine and its allies. International reactions. United States. Washington has expressed concern over Moscow's decision, emphasizing the need for restraint and responsible nuclear policies. The Biden administration reiterated its commitment to supporting Ukraine, while avoiding direct confrontation with Russia. NATO allies. European nations, already on edge due to the war in Ukraine, are likely to view this move as a direct challenge to regional security. NATO has called for urgent discussions to reassess its defensive posture in light of Russia's revised doctrine.